Hi, there's one problem that I think is a good example, and I want to re-explain that one more time for you guys here because I think this topic is a little bit confusing for some people. Now we are trying to understand the difference between the present value and the future value. So just to recall, the present value is the money that you have in your bank account today, the exact money that you have now. But the future value of this money is somehow should be bigger than the one that you are having right now, because you are assuming that we make some profits as the time goes by. So the future values is always must be something higher than the present value of what you are having right now. So the same thing applies to this example here. So assuming that you win the lottery and they offer you two choices between $1 million now or in 4-year installments. If you are to receive the money now, then you just get one lump sum payment for $80,000 for now, just one time only. And if you do not want this lump sum payment now, then you can take 4 different payments, $250,000 each. So $250,000 for now, starting now, and then a year later you get another $250,000, and then another year you get another $250,000, just 4 times. And assuming that you get 2% interest rate per year, compounded continuously, and ignoring the taxes. So which methods or which payments should you pick? You take it now for $980,000 or $250,000 each for 4 times. So in order to decide which one you should pick, we have to compare either the present value or the future value. So you must pick one way, either the present value, and then compare that for both of the payments, or choose the future value and then also compare the two ways that they offer you. So let's just go with the present value for the first choice. So now for the present value, we know that if you take the lump sum payment, then the present value of the lump sum payment is just now is $980,000, right? However, how do we find the present value of the 4 payments, the 4 installment payments of the 4 years now? Because the 4 yearly installments here, $250,000 each, this one is the future value because it's not happening now. It's happened next year, the next year, and then also the following years. That's why these are the future value. So we have to convert this one back to the present value, so you can compare that with the lump sum payment now of $980,000. So with that, I'm trying to find the present value P using this formula here, because we are looking for the compounded continuously, which is this formula, the present value. So let's try to find the total present value of the 4 payments of $250,000 each. So for now we get $250,000 starting now. So the first payment is already the present value, which is $250,000, right? And then the second payment, we are applying this formula here. We are taking the future value B multiply e to the minus rt, and the future value, the next 3 future values should be also $250,000 the next year, the next year, and then the next year after that's 3 years. So here I have $250,000 for B, e to the minus rt. R is the interest rate, 2% or 0.02, and then t this year, the first one is the year 0 now, and then the next one is the year 1, and the next one is year 2, and the next one is year 3, and then we all add them up together. We end up with 970,688, and you can see the present value of this 4 yearly installments. The present value of that payment is just 970k 688, and this one is less than the one lump sum payment now of 980k. So it's telling you that you should take the lump sum payment for now instead of using the second ways of the payments. And some people are wondering why the 250 here now is decreasing to 245. It's easy to understand this because the 250k here is the 250k payment for the future of the next year, and if you are to take that payment of the next year and find the present value of now, you should get something less than that, because the present value should be something is less than the future value, so that you are trying to make some profits time by time until the next year. So that's why 250k for the next year is not really 250k now, because for now we should get something less than that, or 245k, so that we make some profits by the interest rate per year, and eventually we're reaching to 250k by the next year. The same thing to the following year. Again, the future value, they pay you that 250k, but that is the future value of 2 years later. It's not now. For now, if you take that money, and for now it should be 240k, something less than that, so that from now on you are working to make some profits based on this 240k, and eventually you are reaching to some amount of money that is bigger than 240 or maybe 250k in that by that time. So that's why when you have the future value of 250k and you are trying to convert that back to the present value of now, it's not really 250k, but it's something less than that. That's why we are getting some decreasing here. So the first method is I'm comparing the present value. So I found that the lump sum payment is higher, so I go with that. Now if you choose not to compare the present value, you can also compare the future value of these two payments. Okay, so let's try to find the future value now. So one lump sum payment of 980k, this one is the present value now. So you want to find the future value of this one after all the payments, which is 3 years later. One now, one next year, one next year, and then another one the last year. So I want to find a future value of B using this formula, because this one is compounded continuously. So B equal P ERT. So P here is the present value, or 980k, and ERT, ER is 0.02, T is after 3 years, 0 is year 0 is now, years 1 is next year. That's why 4 years, but it's really time T equal 3 is the last payment last year. So we got up to 1,040k 600, and this makes sense because if you get 980k now, you can stack making some profits by earning the interest rate for each year, and eventually you are getting some more money each year, and by the time after they make all the payment, your future value of 980k should be over $1 million. So we got the future value of this one. Now let's try to find the future value of the other payment. So again, I'm doing the same thing. We are trying to find the future value of the other 3 payment, 4 payment with 240k each. So I'm using the same formula. We are trying to find the future value. So the future value is B. So B equal PERT, and we are finding the total future value here. So the future value of the first 250k payment is 250k e to the RT, or R is 0.02 and T is 3, which is 3 years later. And then the future value of the other payment is also 250k e to the RT the second year, and also the future value of the year before that is 250k e to the RT, and then the first year, and then also 250k the last one. And when you add all them together here, you get 1,030,712. And of course, the future value is also less than the future value of the lump sum payment. Therefore, either way, you still have to pick the one lump sum payment of 980, because this one gives you the higher amount of money for the present value or the future value if you compare both ways. So as we expect, the future value of this one 980k payment is greater, so you're better to take 980k now. So that should be a good way to summarize the section here. So make sure that for future and present value, if you are deciding which one you should pick, just comparing either the present value or the future value, just pick one type and then compare the 2 payments, and which one has a higher payment, just go with that one. And that should be all, and thanks for watching.